Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. We'll begin with our top stories. Today is being commemorated as World Teachers Day, and trade union leaders have announced a nationwide strike beginning Monday, October 9, 2023. The announcement was made today by trade union teachers as they address authorities who turns out on celebrations to mark World Teachers Day. Meantime, Secondary Education Minister says there is no reason for teachers to go on strike, asking them to state their problems and come to the negotiating table. And in a devastating turn of events, a family of 3 met an untimely demise after their canoe capsized in a treacherous waters of the Buru River. We'll tell you more in this edition of Newscast. Good evening once more. Secondary Education Minister says there is no reason for teachers to go on strike, asking them to state their problems and come to the negotiating table. Nalova Lyonga was speaking during celebrations to mark World Teachers Day this October 5, 2023. The details of this story with our reporter Beatrice Ngamo and students journalists on internship Chelsea Kuon. Their story.
Secondary Education Minister's rubbish protest by some teachers, saying there is no need for them to be on strike because the person they are striking against has no problem with them.
Now, on the day when we had the press conference, the Minister of Finance said that he was going to look into the schedule of the ministry to see how he could bring forward the payment to most of the teachers. So the dialogue is open. Why are they going on strike?
Nalova Lyonga questions why they are telling parents not to send their children to school, whereas they are teachers today because of the education they received.
If they did not send them to school, would they be what they are today? There is no reason to do that. From day one, the head of state paid 100% payment to people who are not receiving their salary.
Loaded them to be patient and not give instructions they cannot take. The co-ministers of education will concert for long-lasting solutions.
But they should not force us, give us pressure to say that now, because teachers are not the only people who need pay. And for them to
improvements on their working conditions, what many hope to see after this October 5th, World Teachers Day.
We are reclaiming the payment of our arrears. Our advancements should be progressive recruitment of teachers.
So I pray that whatsoever decision that they are going to take, let it be, in fact, be in reality.
This year's celebration at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex is under the theme, "The Teacher We Need for the Education We Want," the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage.
And despite massive boycott of teachers today at the Beseke ceremonial ground in Cameroon's economic city Douala on the sidelines of World Teachers, those who turns out described today's celebration as a sorrowful one, taking into the fact that government is yet to address the plight of teachers. Let's watch. This is how the March Past ground still looks like on October 5, 2023. Completely deserted, with just a few teachers said to have shown interest in the traditional March Past. The message is clear. A majority of teachers in Douala have hit to the call of the OTS movement, determined to force the government to hit to their demands. A pain teachers expressed this October 5.
Increment of salaries, seeing how they can elevate us, seeing how they can reclassify teachers seeing into those little problems that we go on daily basis as teachers.
Like the problem of facilitation of documents in the ministry, the advancement of teachers.
Like presently in the country, teachers on strike because they are not well treated by not paying their salaries. Then secondly, teachers have been seen as being less important.
Though faced with challenges, a majority of teachers we talk to say they don't regret choosing the teaching profession.
As a teacher, I'm proud to be one first because we are nation builders. Though not too happy, but we need to celebrate the day to make it a successful one.
With all those problems, we are not just going to stay at home. We need to come and manifest it is our day, but why pressing on the government to see what they can really do.
Despite the difficulties, but I'm happy to be a teacher. I love the vocation.
All that has been said today, the government should try and implement that. And we'll be very happy and we'll do our work with joy as usual as teachers.
So we just want the government to the problems of the teachers and to see how they can ameliorate to make it to be very better.
Honoring teachers on October 5 by upgrading their status as nation builders is a collective responsibility, they all cried out. Meantime, trade union leaders have announced a nationwide strike beginning on Monday, October 9, 2023. The announcement was made today by trade union leaders as they address authorities who turned out on celebrations to mark World Teachers Day. Let's watch. A descriptive message from trade union leaders this October 5 that tells the precarious conditions of teachers in Cameroon. In a strongly worded letter to government, the trade union leaders announced a general strike across Cameroon beginning Monday if government fails to address the plight of teachers.
Won't be in off on Monday, knowing fully well that the government must have listened to some of our pleas and taking into consideration the existing living condition and situation of the teacher of this country.
Like in previous years, the need for the strict application of the special status of teachers, salary increments, reclassification, payments of debts, and more were again re-echoed at the Beseke ceremonial ground in Douala. The trade union leaders say it's time the government respects its own part of the engagement.
Much has to be done about our system. The syllabuses have to be reviewed in order for the teaching the teaching process to be effective, as at the end of the training of the students with a degree, the student is not able to be inserted into professional life, which is a problem. And this is because of the type of programs that they give to teachers. We were left up to not having jobs, but now it seems the government is opening forth ways for immigration, going out of the country. And we know how it all ends up. Most of our youth die in the sea.
Celebrations in the context of tension, intimidation, boycott of classes. This year's Teachers' Day celebration has been described by many as sorrowful. And for an alarming span of time, the training of teachers has remained the same, with no signs of improvement. The sea, as student journalist Christy Aya Array delves into the enduring challenges faced by educators and the lack of progress in addressing their needs and concerns. Her story.
Andre Bayoko has been a retired teacher since 2014. According to him, while the method of teaching have changed over time, the difficulties faced by teachers have remained the same.
The
life of a teacher has always been difficult. We all love the job, but in the law room, they consider us as non-teachers. There were some colleagues that got strokes.
Mais nous autres, on a pu supporter cela.
Richard Kengwe Angon, who has been on retirement since 2010, after a 10-year teaching career, has transitioned into politics as a member of the municipal council in Bafia. According to him, the situation of teachers has to be applauded. I started teaching very young. I was 25 years old. I came from Liège. It was a passion for me because it was a job I liked and I was doing it with a lot of determination. On the other hand, Richard Nyambin has been in the teaching profession for the past 11 years at the Lycée Classique in Bafia. He emphasizes that teachers in Bafia live in inadequate situations that do not align with their social role. Nyambi's perspective underscores the importance of recognizing the vital role teachers play in society and providing them with the necessary support and resource. We have difficulties, but that is not always seen in the ministerial place. For example, the cutting of electricity can cause that a class you have programmed for 2 hours can't be carried. Being retired or present, each and every teacher hopes in the same voice that the government may hear their cry.
And for the past 1 month, some teachers have been boycotting classes, demanding for better working conditions. This is leaving a lasting impact on the learners whose parents are becoming more concerned, as a lament in the following story by our reporter, William.
1 month gone, and parents have started advocating for teachers to have their problems solved by the government. This is as a result of the past tensions observed in the educational milieu, with teachers decrying their poor working conditions. Teachers ought to be highly valued in this world. They are really neglected nowadays. The parents are not indifferent as they feel compassionate for the teachers. As a parent, it hurts firstly because my father was a teacher and I myself, as a son, I can't follow the steps of my dad because of the effort he put in but wasn't honored. The status quo has left parents perplexed about the future of their children as they now sought alternatives to ensure their offsprings are learned. Effectively, you just need to take a home teacher. If I, as a parent, capable of teaching my children, I simply will do it. That's all. They beckon on behalf of the teachers for the government to find a long-lasting solution to their numerous problems.
I think the government should see how to solve their problems, because if they are not happy, if they are angry, our children will not be well educated, because the education of our children rely on the teachers. So the government should look for a lasting solution to their problems.
As it stands, both the teachers and parents hope the situation in the educational sector returns to normalcy.
And in a devastating turn of events, a family of 3 met an untimely demise after their canoe capsized in the treasurer's waters of the Boro River. Our reporter, a student journalist on internship, Kiga, reports.
A heart-wrenching incident has left the locales of Akon Etie, a village located 15 kilometers away from the town of Ambam. The villagers are in total dismay following the tragic disappearance of 3 persons from the same family after their canoe capsized on the Boro River. The eyewitness recounts the story.
I went to cast the net for fish. On my return, I saw people in the canoe. I then stepped in and I heard someone calling my name. I was with the canoe at the level of the entrance. When I pulled the canoe, I saw no one except the man who had died, the father.
The victims have been identified as Moïse Ondo, 45 years old, his wife, Jenny, 28 years old, and their son, Chupi, 6 months old. They left a family behind whose joy quickly turned into an unimaginable tragedy. Most people in this locality are farmers. They no longer know the direction to take. Amongst the survivors were this woman and her 2-year-old baby. Sangwa Ella Asumu is a resident of the village. He says situations like this happens every year.
And every year, we are victims of accidents. We have lost men, women, children. It is actually becoming complicated. If we could have a small floating bridge, it can help us. Please let the authorities come and help us.
As the community mourns the loss, they stand united in supporting one another through this difficult moment, while pleading on the government to help them by building a bridge to cross the Mboro River.
And in business news, young Cameroonians have been encouraged to trade in the Forex, a global foreign exchange market which could increase their income and bail them out of poverty. The call was made. That story.
Buying, selling, and exchanging currencies at the forex market is the passion of these young, ambitious Cameroonians.
And we come back to this story, which is business news. Young Cameroonians have been encouraged to trade in the Forex, a global foreign exchange market, which could increase their income and bail them out of poverty. Now, we come back to that story. Bars and snack remains closed, and the seaside resorts of Cliquez after bartenders announced a strike following a reduction of their bonuses by brewery companies. More on the story reads our student journalist, Christy Are.
Several bars closed. Bartenders and promoters of drinking establishments are saying brewery companies instead prefer their own profit without considering the operators' well-being. They demand fair treatment and transparency in their dealing with the brewery companies. What we have realized is that they reduce a part of our revenue. And we are not facing. We won't be the ones to finance the problem the brewery industries are facing. They can look for other means. Consumers are expressing their frustration with the current situation as the closure of drinking spots limits their options for socializing and enjoying their favorite drinks. In support of the operators, consumers have pledged to stand firm until their concerns are addressed. Since a certain time, we have realized that bars are closed. We can't understand why. Normally, every morning when we wake up, we have to take a bottle of beer to clear our eyes. And even when catching, without, we are not fine. In the meantime, it is the consumer who bear the burden of this ongoing conflict. Brewing companies have remained mute in the face of the strike.
Thanks so much, Christia Ray, and that brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal, the International. Thanks so much for watching. But coming up next is The Brief with Lil Piejou. As for me, I'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.